What's up, my Essential Gannett? It's Essential Man here. So this is my review of Impact Wrestling, a night you can't miss 2019 at the 2300 Arena, formerly known as the ECW Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This show was in ECW territory on the 8th of June 2019. I can't find the attendance for the show. The 2300/ECW Arena is a small venue, so I'm not guessing how much people attend for the show. And by the way, this show is not a pay-per-view. This is their second ever monthly special on the Impact Plus app I got. The first show they did was Code Red 2019. That was in May, the previous month. I reviewed that show last year on this channel in October. So I'm getting back reviewing these Impact Wrestling monthly specials. The recent one they did was Against All Odds. I might review that show in the future. And also this is a co-promotion show. Like Code Red was co-promoted by Impact Wrestling and House of Glory, or HOG for short. That's the reason why JD from NY already commentated one of the matches on that show. This show is also a co-promoted show by Impact Wrestling and House of Hardcore that was founded by Tommy Dreamer, who was still with, running HOH and also wrestling with Impact Wrestling at the time. Yeah, he's not, I think he's suspended. I don't know, he's fired or suspended, I'm not too sure. Due to the events of the plane ride from hell. I don't want to get into it. Go and watch Dark Side of the Ring for more information. And then also the next monthly special, Bash of the Brewery, is also a co-promoted show with Impact Wrestling and River City Wrestling. So anyway, the commentators for the show are Josh Matthews and Scott D'Amore. The headline match for the show is a tag team match: Tommy Dreamer and the Great Muta taking on Michael Elgin and Johnny Impact. So we'll get to the main event later on in this review. So the first match to kick off a night you can't miss 2019. This is a 6-man tag team match. We got the Radicals. I'm going to call them by their first name. Back then we were called Trey, Wentz, and Dez. I'm going to call them Desmond Xavier, Zachary Wentz, and Trey Miguel. Taking on, by the way, Wentz and Dez, they are the future Nash, Carter, and Wes Lee. Right now, Wentz is, they were in NXT, by the way, and now I think, Wes Lee is left WWE NXT. I think it was due to the budget cut. I think Nash Carter is still with the company with NXT 2.0, by the way. Anyway, they're taking on members of OVE. That stands for, what is it, Ohio versus everyone, I think it's called. So, represent OVE, we got the Christ brothers. That is Dave and Jake Christ with Madman Fulton, because their leader, Sami Callihan's in a match later on in the show. We'll get to Sami's match later on in this review. So, this was just okay. It wasn't bad. By the way, there's no bad matches on the show. It was just okay matches. They're not bad, but they're not really must-see. Anything important. The crowd did not give a fuck about this match. I feel like this is a match belong on a normal episode of Impact Wrestling. It's just what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. It's just, you got, like, the Radicals are known for the high-flying stuff. It's basically, just like trying to outwit the members of OVE. I feel like it's just mediocre, kind of standard, okay 6-man tag team match. In the end, the Radicals got the victory over OVE. I think the Radicals hit like multiple assisted moonsaults onto, I think it was on the Chris brothers. Maybe it was on Fulton. No, I don't think it's on Fulton. I think it was on Dave or Jake Chris. So anyway, so the Radicals got the victory, showcase what they are, what they can do. I think they got over at the time. I think people like the Radicals, I don't mind them. It's just what it is. So let's move on to the next match. So the next match, this was a good match. And by the way, there's no build to this. Some of these matches, there's no build. There's no like storyline progressing. It's just like added to the last minute. Or I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just what it is, trying to fill up the card. Anyway, so the next match we've got Moose taking on Luchasaurus. in our current timeline, he's now aligned himself with Christian Cage in AEW in Christian's feud with Jungle Boy Jack Perry. At this moment in time, the the Jungle Express is officially no more. Marco Stunt is gone, and Luchasaurus turned his back on Jungle Boy Jack Perry to join up with Christian. So, at this moment in time, back in 2019, this show took place 2 weeks after the first AEW show, that is Double or Nothing 2019. Luchasaurus compete in that Casino Battle Royale, who's not really officially signed with the company. He ended up signing with the company. Great example, Smiley Kylie Ray, who's wrestled on that show. I think it was the Double or Nothing show. Didn't really officially sign with AEW. Ended up joining up with Impact Wrestling. I think it was a year later. Anyway, a bit of a trivia, but a bit of a sign off. Same things. Trivia, sign note. Anyway, so. The match between Moose and Luchasaurus, it was a good match. It was a mix of big brutes. They're not acting like big brutes. Punch, kick. If they end up doing lucha libre, cruiserweight style moves, I kind of like it. The athleticism of both Luchasaurus and Moose. I think one more of the match, Moose hit the what's it called? The Go to Hell. It's kind of like a sit down power bomb. Luchasaurus kicked out. Luchasaurus hit the choke slam onto Moose, but Moose kicked out. A lot of near falls. This was a good match. Not a great match. It was a good match. Better than the opener. In the end, Moose low blow Luchasaurus. I think it was a referee bump. Not too sure. It's been 2 days or a day. It's been 2 days since I watched the show. In the end, Moose hit the no jackhammer needed. It's basically a spear onto Luchasaurus to win this match. By the way, Luchasaurus losing this match to Moose on the show, it didn't really hurt him. Like I said, there's no storyline progressing. There's no build to this. It's not gonna hurt Luchasaurus because at the time he's not working with Impact Wrestling. Like I said, it's a co-promotion show. It's not hurting anyone on the show. It's not gonna be a storyline progression because Luchasaurus end up signing with AEW, by the way. So, it was a good match. So moving on to match number 3. We got Guido Maritano, the former Guido with the FBI in the original ECW, the former Nuncio in WWE, taking on Clayton Gaines with Monet and Monique Dupree. By the way, they're not the daughters of Rene Dupree just because they got the similar last names. I know that I think they actually call the Dupree. They are like the Dupree sisters in real life. I don't know if Rene Dupree is actually his real name, and I'm not really too sure on it. So, Monique was a singer, appeared in Morgan Freeman's movie in 1989, probably as a kid. I don't know how old that. They're probably in their 20s or 30s. I'm not too sure on it. I don't know much about Cameron Gaines. He could probably be in NXT 2.0, by the way. The match was okay. It wasn't terrible. I don't really praise it. Someone reviewed this show saying it's good. I don't think it's that good. It was okay. There's some fast-paced stuff, but I think it was just mediocre. It lasted about 8 minutes. I'm not saying it's a bad match. It was just nothing important. One more of the match, you had Guido basically placing his arms onto the shoulders of the Dupree sisters and rubbing his head onto one of the Dupree sisters' tits. That's kind of funny. There's one notable botch in this match. Gaines trying to hit Guido with the super kick. It did not connect. He was trying to kick him right in the back of the head or the back area. He didn't really connect it, so that led to the fans chanting "You fuck up." In the end, Guido hit the Kiss of Death. It's basically the Unprettier / the kill switch, Christian's finisher to win this match. So it's just what it is. Like I said, no storyline progression. Just like it was kind of filling up the card in the last minute. So, it's just what it is. So it's just a card filler. It is filler, but it's kind of like I said, no storyline progression, no build to this. It's just filling up, just basically an improv 2 match. So let's move it on to the next match. So the next match, you could say this has got build to this. We got Taya Valkyrie with John E. Bravo is that's Taya and Johnny's manager. She's defending the Impact Wrestling Knockouts title against Jordan Grace. This is a rematch from Rebellion. That Taya defeat Jordan to retain the title. Then the build up to this, you had Jordan Grace defeat Madison Rayne to get another shot at Taya Valkyrie's Knockouts title. And then they had a beatdown in a gym, to get Ty some heat. The match was okay. Like you got big girls, like it's funny. Like recently in our current timeline, Jordan Grace is now officially slimmed down. I'm not calling her. She's not really fat, but she's kind of full of muscle. And Tyra's like tall. She got some muscle. I don't call it. She ain't fat as well, but big muscly women. It was okay of a match. I didn't really see that match at Rebellion, but not their best work. It was okay for what it is. You had some one more of the match. You had Jordan Grace kind of suplex Taya onto the concrete floor. There was barely any like ring mat, around the ring. But the match was so much interference by Johnny Bravo. How the hell naming himself after a Cartoon Network cartoon? Johnny Bravo. Go look it out. Look it up. Johnny Bravo. Blonde hair, wearing sunglasses, wearing black t-shirt, blue jeans, trying to flirt with women. Anyway, so Jordan hit the Grace driver onto Taya Valkyrie. Johnny Bravo pulled the referee pulled the referee out of the ring. I'm trying to say. But too much interference. In the end, he grabbed the chair, hits Jordan Grace with the chair. Taya pins Jordan Grace to win this match and retain the Impact Knockouts title. So yeah, it just made Taya Valkyrie look weak. I think most of her run, I don't know, but I think she won it once or twice. I think her second run was a bit too much with interference. It just made, if you interfered once or twice, that'll be okay. She did interfere in the main event. That was okay, but Johnny Bravo, he interfered a lot in this match. It just made it's okay. The whole thing being a heel is just you have to cheat by him or herself. You got cheat. You got cheat by yourself. If you're have someone else doing your business help you win, it just makes you weak. It's just like. For Taya Valkyrie, it's just making her opponents, just cannot beat her opponents by herself. It's just like, let's have someone else doing the cheating stuff for you. It's just, come on now. It's like, I hate that, it just makes you like a coward, It's like, the whole point of being a heel, you got to cheat by yourself. Otherwise, it's just like, what's the point of calling yourself a heel? It's just what it is. So, it's just someone do your dirty work. So, they had bad match before this and after this. And by the way, Jordan Grace went on to win. She won't win her first Knockouts title in the following year in 2020 before the whole COVID pandemic hit. So that's a bit of the side note. So I'm not saying it's a bad match. It was an okay match. Like I said, they had bad matches before this and after this. So moving on to the next match. So the next match, this is bad. This is getting better, and this is one of the better matches of the show. This is a freeway for the House of Hardcore Twitch Television Championship. I'm going to just call it the TV Championship anyway. We've got Willie Mack defending the belt against Rich Swann, who at the time was the X Division Champion, and Teddy Hart. This is the first time I watched a Teddy Hart match. I heard the name of Teddy Hart, but I've never seen his matches. Don't know anything about Teddy Hart. He's part of the Hart family. I think he was in WWE, probably in developmental. He was not really on the main roster like David Hart Smith. It's Harry Smith, by the way, Tyson Kidd and Natalya. It's just what it is. I think he probably fit the Hart Dynasty, what they did in the late 2000s, in the early 2010s. Pretty damn good, but unfortunately it didn't work out. You wrestle on the indies for a decade, so. Anyway, so this was fun. He was good. I think he's around in his late 30s at the time. He did hang with the younger wrestlers like Willie Mack and Rich Swann. I don't know how old Willie Mack is. It was fast-paced stuff, typical cruiserweight X Division matches. just fast-paced, high-risk moves. Yeah, Teddy Hart hit like Canadian destroys, and I think he hit a Canadian destroy onto Willie Mack. I think he hit like a Super Canadian destroyer off the top rope onto Rich Swann. I'm not too sure about this. So in the end, Willie Mack hit the a 6-star frog splash onto Rich. I think it was Rich Swann. Yeah, it was Rich Swann to win this match and retain the House of Hardcore Television Championship. By the way, he still holds the belt to this day. He won the title in April 2018. You know, at the time he was holding the belt for one whole year, and still continues to hold the belt to this day. He's still, I don't know, he's not with Impact Wrestling anymore. It's a shame. I don't know what companies wrestle anymore. I don't know. I don't know what company he's wrestled. I don't know. Maybe he's still in the indies. So anyway, besides that, this is the better match of the night. You know, fast paced stuff. You know, it's just, you know, tell a good story in the ring. You know, it's like it's some glimpses of an old school X Division match in the mid 2000s. So let's move on to the next match. So the next match, the next match. This is, I'm gonna call it match of the night in my opinion. So this is a Philadelphia street fight. The draw: Sami Callihan taking on Eddie Edwards. It started 1 year ago, their rivalry, when Sami hit the baseball bat in the face of Eddie Edwards. You know, placed a chair on his head. You know, it was an accident. It was botched. You know, I think Sami admit he was sorry. He didn't really do it. You know, it wasn't a shoot. It was kind of like a work gone wrong. It turns Eddie into this psychotic lunatic character. I'm guessing he's trying to be their version of Dean Ambrose. There could be a dream match down the road one day. Eddie Edwards, Jon Moxley, but who knows? Never say never. So it was basically one of the best feuds of Impact Wrestling of 2018. Sorry, yeah, the feud throughout 2018 had street fight matches, the fight in the woods, and then they took a break from their rivalry. You know, Eddie Edwards feuding with Moose, put him in the mental home. You had that cameo appearance of Raven. So anyway, this was added to the last minute. You know, managed to beat Sami Callihan in that build to this, or that was during that feud actually. So the match was good. I really like it. The crowd was red hot in this match. You know, a lot of chants. You know, because this is ECW territory. You know, there was one more of the match. You had both. Like the start of the match, you had both not Tommy Dreamer. It's like Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan putting each other through wooden tables, like cardboard wooden tables. I don't know what they are. You hitting like each other with the Death Valley Driver, belt shots with toy belts. You know, Eddie holding you grabbed the fans' towel belt. It was an ECW towel belt. You got a bit of an ECW chant. Hit Sami Callihan in the face, and then Callihan spit in one of the fans' toy belts. It was an NXT title because at the time, if you don't know the story, Sami Callihan was in WWE. He was in NXT in developmental. You know, he was Solomon Crow. I think it was kind of like a slap in his face. You know, I think he left the company on very bad terms. So when he was in WWE, he didn't really made an appearance on Raw or SmackDown. Maybe he did like as a jobber, but yeah, he was never a major main character in NXT programming. That's a bit of a side note in trivia. So, one funny chant in this match, you know, he had Sami kind of like tell the fans to shut up, and the fans said to Sami, "Fuck you, Sami, suck my dick." It's ECW territory, you know, it's rowdy. At one moment of the match, you had some clubs. You had Sami holding the bat, Eddie holding his candlestick, Kenny the candlestick. You know, his character was getting over at the time because he's getting away from him as a tag team with Davey Richards, because at this moment in time, Davey Richards is no longer with the company. There was a license plate sign, a New York license plate sign, had the fans chanting "Fuck New York" because neither the men in this match and the crowd are not from New York, because the show's in Philly. You got Sami Callihan from Ohio, and you got Eddie Edwards, who's from Boston. So, yeah, you had Eddie grab the New York license plate and place it in the tongue of Sami Callihan, slash his tongue. That was kind of like a tongue slashing spot. Yeah, just Madman Fulton, part of OVE, got involved, attacked Eddie Edwards, and then you got Sandman came to the rescue. Maybe Eddie's character expired what Sandman's doing. They're both carrying candlesticks. In the end, Sami rolled up Eddie for the win. So you can tell like they're building Sami Callihan up for the world title when he will become world champion later on in the year, in the autumn. You can tell like the building Sami Callihan up as going to be this next big star, because at the time Impact Wrestling was kind of like starting to get some buzz again after the shit they did in later on in the early parts of the 2010s. You know, the stuff with Hulk Hogan, the Immortal, and Aces and Eights, and Claire Lynch and Dixie Carter. I don't want to get into it. Another story for another time. But unfortunately, they had a briefly moment in the sun, because at this moment in time, it was a transformation period for Impact Wrestling, because some of the stars end up going to AEW. So, but besides that, this match was good, man. I'll call it match of the night, because Sami and Eddie, they just got good chemistry. They work well in the ring. So, we had this segment with Joey Ryan. Basically, Joey Ryan basically trying to call out Billy Gunn, because he made his return. Basically, this is self-proclaimed trying to. I don't know. Billy Gunn. I think he made his return to Impact Wrestling at that time, because he was in Impact Wrestling, formerly known as TNA. As Kip James and the Outlaw, part of Free Life Crew and the Fuda King Mafia. And then, at this moment in time, Billy Gunn left the WWE, allowed him to wrestle Billy Gunn in the Indies and AEW. Right now he's in AEW, part of the Acclaim, ditched his sons. So basically trying to call out Billy Gunn, and then you got D'Lo Brown showing up, saying like Billy Gunn cannot make it. And you had this I think at this moment you had Joey Ryan trying to grab D'Lo's hands, place it around his balls. That is sick. That's just, come on now. I'll get some more of Joey Ryan shortly. I think D'Lo Brown tried to hit the Sky High. Unfortunately, injured his leg, his knee. And Joey Ryan managed to grab D'Lo's like hand and place it and made him touch his balls. That is sick. Hit the Primplex, and that was it. So I don't like Joey Ryan's gimmick. I think this is not against people who LGBT, whatever it's called. I'm not bashing him. I'm just saying his gimmick is gay. I'm sorry. He was in Impact Wrestling before, never got over, and he returned for the second time. Same result. It's his gimmick. It's shit. It's gay. Some person did a video says the rise and fall of Joey Ryan. What rise did he have? I don't see any rise of Joey Ryan. I don't get it, man. I'm gonna move on, man. So it's just save it on an episode of Impact Wrestling. I think he did wrestle in Impact Wrestling with Billy Gunn. I know that was in the 2000s, but in his I'm not too sure he made his return to Impact Wrestling. Maybe he did for a cup of coffee before going to AEW. So moving on to the main event. The main event, we got a tag team match. We got Johnny Impact with his wife Taya Valkyrie, the future Frankie Monet. I forgot to mention that in the Knockout Style match earlier in this review. She was Frankie Monet in her brief run in NXT, and also with Johnny Bravo, teaming up with Michael Elgin, who's challenging Brian Cage for the world title at Slammiversary that year, taking on Tommy Dreamer and the Great Muta. It started out with chants, fans basically playing up to the crowd. It's just like, I think say fuck this guy towards probably at Michael Elgin, called probably Johnny Impact an asshole. Former John Morrison, former Johnny Mondo, Johnny Nitro. Recently he's just wrestled in AEW as Johnny Elite. That was part of the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. So Tommy Dreamer grabbed the mic, just basically said, I know, he said Philadelphia is the most respect crowd. Just chill out, and enjoy the great fucking Muta. By the way, he did not bleeped out Tommy Dreamer saying fuck. I watched the Sami Callihan documentary when he won the world title, and people around Sami, people in that documentary is just saying fuck. just what it is, man. I don't want to get into it. So anyway, so the match was. I think it was a fun match. It was a fun match. It wasn't anything great. They don't need to do anything because at this moment in time, Great Muta was so kind of past his prime. He was around in his 50s. Dreamer is in his 40s. I think he's 48. He said he's 48 in that promo after the match. You don't need to do anything. They got the crowd in the palm of their hands. You know, one more of the match you had Muta with broomstick. He's trying to hit, trying to charge Elgin and Impact with the broomstick, but he's sweeping the imaginary dust. You know, which is again they're playing around to the crowd. You know, it really puts off this match. You know, right? But anyway, so one more of the match. You know, you had Dreamer, you know, placing Elgin onto the table, going for some kind of move off the ring apron and put Elgin through the table. He placed Impact on his shoulder and hit the Death Valley Driver onto Impact and onto Elgin off the ring aprons. My apologies, and through the table. That was a cool spot. Basically I think he had a Impact, not Impact, Dreamer spitting beer in the face of Johnny Impact. Taya Valkyrie got involved, you know, low blow, Tommy Dreamer. She did interfere a bit, that's okay. I think Dreamer hits like some DDT onto Johnny Bravo, he's annoying. They did the whole Who Shot Johnny Bravo storyline in 2020, fucking stupid, I don't want to get into that. In the end, Impact trying to hit Dreamer with the X. It basically wanted an Ultimate X match to face Rich Swann, the X Division title. He tried to hit a Dreamer or Muta with the X, but you had Muta sprayed the red mist in the face of Johnny Impact, and then he sprayed the green mist onto Michael Elgin, hit the Shining Wizard onto Elgin. By the way, he's supposed to be facing, but he took the L, by the way. Elgin took the L, you know, Muta pins Elgin for the win. You posted build on Elgin for Brian Cage. He's challenging Cage for the world title at Slam 30 that year. By the way, he ended up losing to Cage on that show. Yeah, he was a loser, you know, in Impact Wrestling. You know, he's some kind of like going to be like some big star, and then he did jack shit. He ended up leaving the company in 2020. Don't want to get into it, you know. I've heard people don't like Michael Elgin. I don't know what the reason of it, you know. I don't want to get into it. So afterwards, you had Taya Valkyrie, basically confronting both Tommy Dreamer and the Great Muta, and I think like the Muta was stand. I think Taya stand back next to Great Muta or vice versa. Her facial reaction towards the Great Muta, she was screaming because he was wearing the mask. Because he did that trick like someone's standing next to you and she had that look. That was kind of funny. Similar to with Casey Spinelli, Rosemary, you know, that was kind of funny as well. But anyway, so Dreamer he didn't really spray the mist. He probably spit the beer in the face of Taya Valkyrie, hit her with the cutter. And then there was a promo of Tommy Dreamer that says like, I could be Tommy Hazard, you know, my trainer says, you know, almost called him Tommy Dickhead, so I don't want to get into it. It's just killing time because, you know, he did like that Hotwell promo, why he expired me. First time I watched the Great Muta match, you know, my original character was supposed to be a combination of Sting and Dusty Rhodes, because he's wearing Dusty Rhodes' like polka dot tights. You know, he didn't really wear polka dot tights, Dusty Rhodes. He wears like a polka dot singlet when in his run in the WWE, so it was a good like entourage because at this moment in time I think it was the 4-year anniversary of the death of Dusty Rhodes. I think he died in June of 2015. So, anyways, and that was the end of the show. So anyway, my final rating of Impact Wrestling, the night you can't miss, 2019. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I think Code Red, the previous month's show, was a bit stronger. This was fun. No bad matches. The only thing I put in the bad is the Joey Ryan DLO stuff. It was just killing time for the main event. Save it on an old episode of Impact Wrestling. The okay is the okay. Like the opener was okay. Guido Montano versus Clayton Gaines was okay. It was a bit filler in my opinion. And the Knockouts Tower match was between Tyler Valkyrie versus Jordan Grace. Not their better matches. Basically too much interference by Johnny Bravo. But I like the good matches. There were some good matches, fun matches to watch. I like Moose versus Luchasaurus. I like the freeway for the House of Hardcore television title match. Between Willie Mack, Rich Swann, and Teddy Hart. And I like the main event. Dreamer, Muda versus Impact and Elgin. By the way, this was Johnny Impact's second to last. This is the beginning of the end of Johnny Impact's run in Impact Wrestling, because he lost. He lost this match. I think he lost the previous match at Code Red in a tag team match. Him and Tyre versus the N-Words. It's been a long time since I reviewed Code Red. He ended up losing the X Division title match against Rich Swann. That was his final match in the company before leaving to go to WWE later on that year. I forgot to mention it. But besides that, the tag team match was a bit overbooked, but it was a fun match to watch. Basically, the match of the night for me has to be the Philly Street Fight between Sammy versus Eddie. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed my review of Impact Wrestling, the night you can't miss 2019. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash like button, click the like, click the bell, subscribe to the channel, be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. And next time, I'm reviewing Bash of the Brewery 2019.